Me to do a live stream since like I had 1,500 subscribers. Now I always told you guys I don't think a lot of people are going to show up, but I always said I would do one when I had closer to like 15,000 subscribers. So here we're going to do it. Leave some comments. Let me know how is the audio, guys, real quick. I'm gonna pop out this chat so I could answer questions if any come in. You hear me? Thanks, Ed. Cool. Okay. Guys, I gotta be honest. I don't know how Zero Fidelity does this. This is super nerve-wracking. Like, I got no problem with public speaking, but for some reason, this is like so weird. It feels so unnatural. Like, because it's like you use your phone like this, you almost expect it to be like a Zoom call, and there's like people you could see and talk to on the other side, but like everyone on the other side is text. What's up, Ben? What's up, Todd? Josh? Hey, Josh, super old school subscriber. Thank you, bro. I always appreciate you showing up. So, I don't know how long this is gonna last. I gotta go and pick up a suit for my buddy's wedding that's in 2 weeks, and the place closes kind of soon, but I would say fire off some questions. If questions don't come in, I'll probably switch to something topical. There are some topics that have been on my mind for a while that I've wanted to talk about. One of them is like, I get these questions a lot about value, and I think there's a bit of like a fallacy or maybe a paradox involved in that. Like, with value, this is the thing, right? And those of you that are on my Discord, you probably have seen my FAQ section where I talk about value a little bit. What's up, TM? I see your hands. Value is interesting, right? Because on one hand, it depends on how much extra money you have in your pocket, but on the other hand, it does depend not on that at all. Now I'll give you a couple examples. Hey, what's up? John from India. You're kind of close, like 3-4 hours away. So with value, like, what was I saying? I kind of got sidetracked here. Oh, having a lot of disposable cash versus not, and sometimes that's not even related. So I got a friend, right? He has a Porsche 911, not a cheap car, 150K, pretty expensive, right? And he always says, man, this is the best value sports car someone could buy. And I always tell him, I said, yeah, if you're shopping in that price range, but I think there's a lot of guys that might say something like, hey, the Ford Mustang GT at $50,000 is the best value sports car. And to that again, I would say, yeah, if you're shopping in that price range. And then there's guys that would say, no, it's not the Mustang, it's not the Porsche 911, it's something like a Toyota 86, the Subaru BRZ, the Subaru WRX, those $30,000 cars, the Mazda Miata, that's the best value sports car you can buy for your money. And again, that might be true if that's the price category you're shopping in. But then there's Zero Fidelity. Is the plant real or fake? And is that beard dyed? Yes, I dye my beard. I'm 40 years old. Are you guys kidding me? Listen, real quick, guys, like, my older friend taught me this. He's 54, insanely handsome fella, okay? And I asked him one time, I said, bro, do you dye your beard? He said, absolutely, why wouldn't I? You look in the mirror, you like what you see, you're gonna be more confident, your whole life is gonna be better. I got no shame in my game. Thank you for the $10 too, I appreciate it. The plant is totally fake. I can't be fucked to have to water plants. Are you kidding me? I have a bonsai my aunt got for me, and it's half dead. I'll grab it if no one believes me. I will do that. But yeah, look, back to the value thing real quick, right? And don't worry, guys, feel free to ask your questions when I'm done with this value spiel. I'll go back to the chat. I got it zoomed in. My laptop's in front of me. I'll answer your questions, I promise. So where we left off is the guys in the $30,000 camp are saying it's the Toyota BRZ, Toyota 86, Subaru BRZ, Subaru WRX, cars like that, Mazda Miata, right? Well, wait. There's guys that are gonna say, no, none of those are the best value sports car. The best value sports car is buying a used car for, in the neighborhood of $15,000 and modifying it, right? And what I'm getting at here is like, you can use this value argument just across this super wide spectrum of prices, right? And we haven't even got into disposable income, right? You might assume the person that thinks the $30,000 category has maximum value might be a more budget-minded consumer, but that's not always the case, guys. So I told you about my friend who drives the Porsche 911 and believes that's maximum value in a sports car, okay? And he does have a lot of money, right? But let me tell you about my uncle. My uncle, he's got an import-export business. He makes just lots and lots of money. Beachfront home, 4 or 5 international vacations a year, eats at the finest restaurants. What does he drive? He drives a Nissan, I think, Pathfinder SUV. He used to drive the 4Runner. And he likes SUVs, and I had asked him in the past, why 4Runner? He said, great value vehicle, best SUV you can get for the money. Obviously, the 4Runner is nowhere near, the most expensive or luxurious SUVs. My uncle could definitely buy a fully loaded Tahoe, Cadillac Escalade, or something like a G-Wagon. But he's like, despite how much money he has, he doesn't see value in those top dollar SUVs. My uncle sees top dollar value in $40,000 to $50,000 SUVs. So sometimes it is relevant to how much extra money you have. Sometimes it's not. And the real takeaway here is value is tremendously personal, guys. Don't ask a YouTuber their opinion of value. They're only going to be able to answer from their personal perspective, right? You got to kind of decide within, you got to have your own coming to Jesus moment on what's worth it to you. So that's my spiel on value. Let's see if there's any questions here. Brian, hey Nemo, thoughts on JL E110 versus SVS SB3000 for 50/50 music or theater system? Good question, Brian. So the JL E110 is an awesome subwoofer, as is the SB3000, but it is important to note the price disparity here. The SB3000 is half the price or less than a single JL E110. A JL E110, I want to say, is $2,300. An SB3000, I want to say, is $900. So they have a similar sound, right? When I've reviewed JL Audio, I've talked about this. JL Audio does have that SVS tonal character, that heavier bass that's a little more in your face. It's going to have a heavier tone to it. Your attention might be drawn to the bass region of the music presentation or the movie you're watching. But what's really different about JL Audio and SVS is, as much as I love SVS, JL Audio does everything. Not just better, supremely better. It's literally just on another level. It's a lot like saying, if you like small, lightweight sports cars, you might like something like a Mazda Miata, Honda S2000, and things like that. But if you've got more money, a Porsche 911 takes that concept to another level, and that's what JL Audio does. They're the kings of subwoofers. They make highly efficient designs. They're very compact, tons of output. The transient response you're going to get out of JL Audio versus SVS is going to be on another level, the note-to-note distinction. The clear-cut leading edges on JL Audio are also on another level. So, in conclusion, price being no object, and if I had the money for either option, I would definitely take the JL E110 over an SB3000. Zero Fidelity, I already answered your question. What else we got here? Ed says, yeah, the Porsche, if kept in good condition, it will sell for like 20 to 50K more than bought new. Yeah, that's actually an interesting thing with Porsche. Some of them do hold their value, especially 911 models, but you got to keep the mileage low, and that's something I don't love, because I think you should buy a car to drive it. But if you're in a really good place and you've got 2 or 3 cars and your Porsche is just one of your cars and you just maybe drive it once a month, yeah, it's not a bad place to park your money. Ed said, no, okay. Everyday J, I have a 7.2.4 living room setup. I have DIY 18s, nice, a lot of respect for DIY guys. For my 12 by 14 by 9 foot man cave, YouTube studio, I'm considering OG SB2000s. They are $500 each right now for a 60/40 music home theater. How would it compare versus Speedwoofer? So, the SB2000 original, I'll be honest, I've never heard it. I've only heard the Pro model. My understanding and what SVS has told me is they should be near as makes no difference in terms of performance. Sure, you get a little bit more power out of the Pro model. I think it's got like 50 watts more or so. But the sound overall should be very similar. The biggest change in the Pro models was that cell phone app. So that versus a Speedwoofer, Oh man, usually I think about the Speedwoofer as it relates to the SB1000 Pro, because they're closer in price, not the much more expensive SB2000. So Speedwoofer it's a compact vented 10. Vented subs are going to generally give you twice the output versus their sealed counterparts, all things being generally somewhat equal. So that's where they really shine. The downside of vented subs is going to be their transients are usually not the best. Speedwoofer, however, has pretty good transients. Its note-to-note distinction is decent. All of its sound quality characteristics are class leading for the under $500 category. The SVS SB2000, if the non-Pro sounds exactly like the Pro, it's going to have a little bit of a heavier tone to it. But I really think we're splitting hairs here. I think you got to just kind of ask yourself maybe which aesthetic you want more. What would be probably the easier way to go with it. I have not had both of those subs in my room at the same time, and the gap between me reviewing the RSL Speedwoofer 10S and the SVS SB2000 Pro were like 2 years apart. So memory's just slightest bit hazy on that one. Sorry, my man. Trent Walker. Okay, this guys, listen. So Trent Walker has been a subscriber for a while, and I don't know if you remember this, Trent. I've told you this before in a comment, but every time I see Trent post a comment or a question, it messes with my head so much because I have a friend named Trent Rivers and I have a friend named Brent Walker. So I thought for the longest time my buddies Brent and Trent were trolling me, and there's a part of me that still wonders if Trent Walker is one of my buddies messing with me, because again, I got a Brent Walker and a Trent Rivers, and I feel this is something they would do. I don't know. One day we'll find out. Let's see. What was your question though? Sorry. God, guys, when Zero Fidelity says it's hard to keep up with the way the comments work, he's not kidding. Let's see. Can I control F this? I can, thank God. Hey Nemo, have you tried any dipole speakers before, like Magnapan? Just picked up the Maggie LRS, and it's basically game over for my box speakers, and I have the CSS Crichton 1TD and Polk R200s. Not in my room, no. And there's a few reasons for that. I've always wanted to try Magnapans. They look super cool. They got that unique look to them, which I'm a sucker for weird aesthetics like that. But I talked to Thomas and Stereo about it and some other people. I told them my room dimensions, which aren't very big. And the way it kind of shakes out is I've definitely got the amplification to run them. I just don't really have a room that can let them shine. So I've kind of stayed away. If someone tells me otherwise, that no, Magnapans work just fine in a small room, I'll consider giving it a shot. Ben Gleason, the dual SE8s are cool, but I am wondering what I could do with dual Rel TX or Rhythmic. Have you had any speaker that blends better with subs than the Buchart S400? I'm not sure I understand this question, Ben. I'm wondering what I could do with dual Rel TX or Rhythmic. Have you heard any speaker that blends better with subs? Yeah, sorry, my man. I'm not exactly sure what the question is. If you could rephrase it, I'll get back to it. Always pushing. Cannot do towers and have my single SVS SB2000 going behind a large plant. LOL. Hey, dude, you got to fit your sub where you can. There's people that put their subwoofer between an L couch and make it look like an end table. There's guys like me who hide it behind the couch. As you can kind of see right there, the little nook my couch has. See that? It angles away from the wall towards the bottom. I have a KEF KC62 behind there, so put your sub wherever you can. There's nothing wrong with that. And Always Pushing said, anyways, 15 by 15 foot bookshelf choices. You're asking for bookshelf choices in a room that's 15 by 15. With room size alone, it's a little bit hard to give you a recommendation. Your room's a square, which is not the dopest, but it is what it is. We all have our rooms and a lot of them are imperfect. I'd kind of maybe more need to know your budget, whether it's, home theater or stereo. Even though my channel is primarily a 2-channel stereo, I do get a lot of theater questions, so I don't want to assume this is just for stereo. John Stump, jumped in a tad late. No, you didn't, bro. We just started, don't worry. I didn't know if you had mentioned if you get rid of your little friend in the attic yet and your AC is working. Thank you, John, for caring about my trials and tribulations. The air conditioner is still broken. Right now we're doing a isolation test, which is where they chop up the lines on your air conditioner, weld them shut, pressurize them with nitrogen, slap a gauge on them, and then they come out about a week later to see which part of the line set has leaked. And then from there they know, okay, this section of the line is where the leak is, and then they can fix it. As far as the rat, I haven't heard any noises. I have traps set up everywhere. I saw 2 traps in the garage were triggered, but they did not catch the rat. So he's pretty crafty. I haven't caught him, but I'm almost thinking that the traps that he did activate but get away from scared the hell out of him, because I haven't heard any noises since. So maybe we got rid of the rat. Okay, always pushing said 800 to 1,000, and I already forgot your question, so let's scroll up. Cannot do towers, 1515 room, 800 to 1,000 stereo, yes. Okay, 800 to 1,000 stereo, 1515 room. There's an option slightly above $1,000, the Hako Salon Revolution 3s. I haven't reviewed them yet, but those are pretty wicked good. Under $1,000, I mean, there's the Focal Cora 806s. You can kind of find them on sale sometimes, but they're just a smidgen overpriced, in the US, but it kind of is what it is. You've got the Polk R200. I haven't heard that one specifically. I've heard the R100. It's amazing. Everyone tells me the R200 is the same, just with a lot more bass. That's a good speaker. The newer version of the Dynaudio EMIT 10 or EMIT 20, really good bass monster. If you want to take the DIY route and you've got quality amplification, there's the CSS Crichton, the 1TD or the TDX model. Those are just maximum return for your money. Hope some of those options help. Brandon Marks, Speedwoofer is garbage. You know what? I'm actually happy you said that, because that takes me to another topic I want to talk about. I don't mind criticism, guys, but I don't like criticism like this, and I'll explain why. You have the freedom of speech and you can say whatever you want, sure, but just saying something, like just a statement with no context, no explanation, just this is garbage, this is the best thing in the world, it doesn't help anyone. And what you're doing instead is you're using my comment section to vent, and my comment section, with all due respect, is not a place for you to vent. So if you think a product is not good and you want to actually help the community and be constructive, maybe tell us why. And to you, Brandon Marks, I would say if the Speedwoofer is garbage at $449, what is your preferred subwoofer for $449 or less that makes you feel like the Speedwoofer is garbage? You know what I mean? Like, help us out. Give us some context. Don't just say something like this. It doesn't help us, right? Kirk Apparty. Hi, with 2 subs set up, can you mix different make or models, say SVS, SB1000, and SB2000? So, Kirk, that's a great question. I get that question a lot as far as mixing subs. This is generally what I recommend, and I did say generally. Yes, there are guys that have very advanced systems and know how that can mix and match all kinds of stuff, but usually I like to recommend stick within brands. For example, if you're going to mix SVS, SB1000, let me go back to your comment, where'd it go? Sean, if you're still in here, you got to use the Control F function. It makes finding the comments so easy. So you want to mix the SB1000 and the SB2000. Yes, absolutely, you could do that. You can mix any SVS subs together. They're designed to be able to be mixed together, whether it's a ported or a vented model. Same with most subwoofer brands, Rel, whether it's Rhythmic, it doesn't matter. As long as you're staying within the brand, you can mix. I actually had a friend, he had dual SVS PB16 Ultras in the front of his theater. The side of his couch was flanked by dual SB3000 subwoofers, and it sounded incredible. So yeah, you can totally mix and match. I just recommend staying within the same brand. For example, I would not do a Rel T5X paired with an SB1000 Pro, but stick within the brand and you'll be good. Always pushing. Sorry for multiple messages. I don't mind multiple messages, guys. I'd rather have more questions than not enough, because if there's not enough questions, I just get to sit here awkward, and I wouldn't like that. So always pushing. Sorry for multiple messages. In a garage with a Labrador, and he is barking at everyone. It's all good, bro. It's all good. Trent Walker. You did. It's Vince Vaughn's character name in the film Swingers. It was random screen name choice. All right, Trent. Fair enough, Trent Walker. But I'm still not sure you're not one of my buddies messing with me, bro. I'm not sure because my buddies Brent and Trent, they mess around a lot. Everyday Jay says, you just sold me on dual SB 2000s. LOL. Thanks, brother. That metal grill, beautiful. Congratulations on 15K. Thank you. We don't have 15K yet. This is a almost 15K live stream, but I do appreciate it. Trent Walker again. I think that room size requirements thing for Maggie's is overblown. It might be. You know what I mean? It might be. I'll ask some other people. I'm not sure. I haven't tried it. You know. Let's see what else we got here. Ed says, which audio brands or tech are you interested in? Do you like or interested in headphones and IEMs? So, as far as tech, I'm not interested in audio tech. I'm a tech nerd. I love, you know, TVs and cars and phones, and I stay up to date on all the technology. But I don't care about tech in audio. What I mean by that is I don't care about SVS's DSP. I don't care about Rhythmic's servo. I don't care about what REL's obsession to their fast filter set and lightweight drivers. I only care about how it translates in a real world environment, which is to say what it actually sounds like, because the marketing people, and I don't mean any disrespect to marketing people, but marketing people have kind of got me a little bit jaded. They've kind of ruined things a little bit by just kind of hyping up everything. They try to represent every product as being able to do everything. They'll take a piece of tech and kind of hype it up way too much, like no one else has it, like it's this earth-shattering new technology. So I've just started to ignore the tech side of audio and instead just focus on what it actually sounds like. Before I answer the second half of your question, I'm parched, hold on. I should have probably grabbed a cup. It would have been better than sucking on a straw, but it is what it is. IEMs, hate them. Absolutely hate them. And I'll tell you a story on why real quick, and then I'll get to answer more questions. One day I woke up and I had blood coming out of both my ears, and I freaked out. I thought I was dying because I have only seen blood coming out of both ears in movies, and usually the person dies. I thought I was dying. I went to the emergency room immediately, and they're like, you're fine. I was like, okay, good. Happy to hear that. Why are both my ears bleeding? And they're like, do you put anything in your ears? And I was an IEM user at the time. And I said, yeah, you know, I just got off an international flight. I had headphones in the whole time, this and that. And they're like, don't do that. You can't do that. And they went on to tell me that some people have very sensitive ear canals. It just is what it is. And for whatever reason, just simply wearing IEMs just wore out and caused all this scar tissue inside my ear. It did end up healing, but it took about 45 days for them to stop being itchy and scabby from all the scar tissue. So I won't go back to IEMs. I might have to get AC. It's getting hot in here. Let's look at what do we have here. RMZ Dan, have you listened to Hecko Salon bookshelf speakers? Yes, bro. They're the in the thumbnail. I posted early impressions in my community post on YouTube and in my free Discord. You can hop into either one of those to see my early impressions. If you have any specific questions about the Hecko Salon Revolution 3s, ask below and I'll answer them in this live stream. Audi File, nice house, bro. Thank you. Thank you. I do love my home. I feel very, very blessed to have it. I always thought having like your own home was like something for other people. And when I was younger, I didn't think it was something I would ever achieve. I was raised by immigrant parents that were like super, super broke. Like my mom worked in retail and my dad delivered pizzas. It's like, I think combined they might've made like $35,000 a year. So like to have what I have today is like, it's still kind of like hard to like, just kind of like accept sometimes, I guess, but I'm very fortunate and thankful for that. What other comments do we have here? What's coming up for your channel? So that's Ben asks that. A lot of things are coming up for the channel. We have to review the Thomasson Stereo Galleon, the Hegel H120, I'm sorry, H190. Arylic sent me a little cheapy B50 amplifier. That's pretty cool because it's got HDMI ARC. We have to review the Heko Salon Revolution 3's Fritz speakers, which I'm really looking forward to reviewing because Fritz, like, everyone says they're great, but like it doesn't get talked about a lot. And I'm really impressed with the Fritz speakers. I have the new version of the Carbon 7s, I believe they're called. Some other things coming up. I do have two subwoofers. I have the Rhythmic LV12M and the new Klipsch 12-inch. So we got a lot of stuff, and it's summertime and my schedule's super packed, so I'm gonna do my best, but there's not gonna be a video this week, obviously. There's probably not gonna be a video next week either because I'll be boating. The week after that, I'll be at a wedding, so we might not have a video for 3 weeks, but when I get back, I'll try to bang out a ton of content. Umesh asks, Nemo, any plans on reviewing Magnepans? No, kind of not at least right now, kind of like I answered earlier. I'm worried that my room's a little bit too small, but maybe I'll give them a call and see what they have to say about my room dimensions, and if they say my room dimensions are okay for Magnepans, I'll consider it. Steve C says, Nemo, great name. Better channel. Thanks for all you do. Support the audio community and hobby. Cheers. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you. Philippe Go says, weird question. I hope it's actually weird. It better be a weird question. Let's see. If subs have subsonic filters to prevent damage if overdriven, does a tower speaker running full range face the same danger of being overdriven on the low end? So, good question, Philippe. Subsonic filters are not just for subwoofers, they're for vented subwoofers specifically. So, sealed subwoofers that oftentimes have the opposite of a subsonic filter. They have a nice fat DSP boost in the low end to help really bring them up. And they might have they call it like a limiter these days, which is essentially a subsonic filter still that might just remove anything super harmful that the sub would never reproduce anyways. If it's a sealed 12, for example, it might just cut everything 14 hertz and below just because it would never be able to reasonably produce those frequencies. Vented subs, so it's really important that they have a subsonic filter just right below the tuning frequency because let's say you've got your vented 12, let's say it's a theater model, it's tuned around 20 hertz. What that means is around 20 hertz, you're gonna get about double your output compared to its sealed counterpart. And then below the tuning frequency, I think most of us know that it just falls right off, but it also goes into free air mode. It's like there's no resistance in the cabinet anymore. And that's where you can run into damage, and that's why you use subsonic filters in vented subwoofers. As far as towers go, I couldn't tell you, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's a similar issue with vented towers or vented bookshelf speakers. I've pushed vented bookshelf speakers pretty far. I've seen some of them they seem to limit ultra low frequencies, and others seem to not. I'm not experienced enough, nor have the speaker building or engineering knowledge to answer what they do with towers and speakers for protection or safety. Let's see what other questions we got. His question was, he said weird. So we're gonna control F weird and boom, found the next question. Christoph says, I ordered an RSL Speedwoofer 10S Mark II to Germany. Already shipped for 80 bucks. That's a killer deal. It must be small enough to not require a pallet. So I'm guessing maybe you used ocean freight, that it was just $80 because I feel like air freight would be more. So I'm guessing you'll have it in, maybe 4 to 6 weeks. You know what I mean? That's a good price. Guys, if you guys are patient, you can get stuff from other countries and not pay ridiculous shipping costs. Most of these crazy shipping prices we hear about are air freight. Ocean freight is a lot cheaper. I sent a subwoofer to a guy in Africa, and it was something like $60. because it went ocean freight. He was like, no, 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 don't do air freight. It's going to be like $900 for me. Just send it ocean freight. I don't mind waiting. Patience is your friend, guys, especially if you live in another country. Christoph also says, thank you very much for bringing attention and making great reviews and comparisons. Thank you, brother. I'm happy you appreciate them. No name, any possible way you could please stop swearing in your videos? Honestly, bro, I don't swear that much. I really don't. It's like once in a while, and most of my videos don't have any swearing at all. Very few of them actually do, and it's usually towards the end, maybe once or twice. You know, I'm definitely not out here like, fuck this, fuck that, this fucking speaker's fucking amazing. Like, I don't talk that way. I used to, like, many years ago, like my first maybe 5 or 6 videos, but I really cleaned it up a ton. So, you know, if you've got a problem with the last few remaining swear words that I do use here and there periodically that I feel are like a true expression of myself, I'm sorry, dude. You know what I mean? I get it. I know some of you guys got kids around and stuff like that, but I don't believe, as far as my personal ideology, that children need to be protected from swear words. If you believe that, that's totally okay. You know what I mean? We all have the right to believe different things, what's harmful to a child and what's not. I personally don't believe swear words are harmful. I was around tons of swearing when I was younger, and I thought it was funny, you know what I mean? It never bothered me. It was just one of those things I giggled about. What other questions do we have? Yeah, Christoph said it too. He barely does. Yeah, like, I don't know, maybe no name. Maybe you watch like some of my super old videos. My super old videos, I was kind of nervous and I swore a lot. And I did have more of a potty mouth back then too, but that was like 3 years ago or more. Robert, you're committing a cardinal sin with this question. Robert's asking, have you ever reviewed or had experience with Stark subwoofers? If anyone's in my Discord, you guys know the rules. You guys can discuss Stark products amongst yourselves. Don't ask me about them. It's not a brand I have any interest in. It's not a brand I wish to discuss. It's not a brand I want to talk about, which means don't even ask me why. I don't mess with them. I don't want to mess with them, and I never will. And it's just that simple. Dave says, hey, Nemo, do you have any experience with Axiom Audio? I don't, bro. I've seen their stuff. I've never checked it out. A lot of companies, you know, it's kind of like you guys. I see so much stuff. There's so many brands. And I think what a lot of people don't know is that this industry it's kind of saturated. It's very saturated, I'd say. The amount of companies versus the amount of consumers, it's a little lopsided. There's way more product in the market than there are buyers, in my opinion. I have not had the pleasure of checking out Axiom yet. Sam Sneed, you heard my explanation, so I'm guessing you will understand why I'm not going to answer your question. Ben says, you rock, look forward for the video when they come out. Good talking with you at Axpona. Do you think you will review the funny looking Cube speakers? So Sam, funny thing, bro. Oh, sorry, no, this is Ben. Ben, funny thing. So the little Cube speakers at Axpona, and I had this experience with a lot of vendors actually. At Axpona, when I was in their face, most companies were like, my man, you're a YouTuber. Yeah, we don't care if you have a small channel. Give me a hug. We'll absolutely send you out some products. We'd love to support you. Then when I got home and I emailed them, nothing. Call them, nothing. So a lot of people did ghost me later. I think it's difficult for people to say no in person when someone's in your face. And when you talk about review samples and such, I think some people, especially those that are non-confrontational, which I do think the audiophile hobby has a lot of people that are non-confrontational in it. They just say yes, but they don't really mean it, and they might be a little bit apprehensive. So I don't fault them for it, and I'm not saying that's the case. Maybe they just got so many inquiries they didn't know what to do, and they're super busy making and selling speakers. I don't know, but a lot of brands did ghost me after the show for one reason or another. Ed says, you forgot the UBR62 for what is coming, and insane that your ear canal bled from IEMs. I know, it is crazy. It scared the hell out of me. So Ed, you're right. I did forget about the UBR62. I forget about the UBR62 all the time. I buy a lot of the stuff you guys see me review because my channel's small. I don't have a relationship with all these brands. So sometimes if I get curious enough, I'll buy the product myself. The ELAC UBR62 was one such product. And unfortunately, when I buy it with my own money, it tends to go on the back burner and gets reviewed last, because what'll end up happening is I'll get larger items in, like the RSL Speedwoofer 12S, for example, and I didn't rush that review. I had it for about 30 days, but the box was huge. I wanted it out of my house as quickly as possible, guys. It was taking up so much space. And, you know, that means stuff like the UBR62 goes on the back burner. Irene, hi Nemo, live chat, what a surprise. Please name a really fast subwoofer. KEF KF92 question mark. No, actually, no, Irene. The KEF KF92 is amazing. I wouldn't call it a fast subwoofer though. The KEF KF92, this is its party trick. This is what makes it absolutely amazing. For how small it is, the amount of low frequency extension it's able to produce is insane. More than one person I know personally has measured the KF92 down to a -3 dB point in room of 11 or 12 hertz. Guys, that's crazy stuff for how small it is. Now, as far as transients, note-to-note distinction, all the descriptors we want to use to describe bass fidelity, I think the KEF KC62 is a little bit better in all those areas. So I like to recommend KF92 for the theater-focused customer, KC62 for the music-focused customer. But a quick sub, I mean, JL Audio is, you know, really clear definition in their leading edges and really fast start-stop behavior. Those are the two aspects that most people associate with the speed of a subwoofer. If the leading edge is well defined, it sounds fast. And if its start-stop behavior is good with no overhang, then it also sounds fast. JL Audio kills it with that. Their stuff's not cheap though. REL, of course, Rhythmic, but you know, Rhythmic's mostly only in the US, and Irene, I know you're outside of the country. So if you're patient, you could do ocean freight and save some money. You'd probably have to find your own freight forwarder though. My understanding is Rhythmic's a little sick of having to deal with all that. Their other subs do have good transients too, like the what is it, the Arundel 1723 1S. It's not like lightning quick like JL Audio is, but its sense of scale is bigger because it's got that 13.8-inch driver. And then I think it's also important to ask yourself the question, because we're all a little bit different, how sensitive are you really to transients, to how well defined the leading edges, to start-stop behavior and things like that? Because not everyone is. And I'll tell you guys straight up, me personally, I'm not that sensitive to a subwoofer's speed, honestly. I can notice it, I can pick up on it, absolutely. But if it's a little bit on the slower side, it's not really a big problem for me. It's not, and that might be because, you know, a lot of my background, you know, when I was a teenager, comes from like car audio, where we've got these giant vented subwoofers with terrible transients, you know what I'm saying? All right, let's see what other questions we got. Guys, this thing is popping off way more than I thought it would. And I just want to say, like, thank you for that. We got almost 50 people in here. Dude, guys, I'll tell you what, before I started this, I was on the phone with Sean from Zero Fidelity, and I thought I was gonna have like 5 people in here. And he's like, what would make you happy? Like, what would you like to see if you did a live stream? I'm like, dude, it would be super cool if like 50 people showed up. And he was like, oh, okay. He's like, fair. He's like, it could happen, you know? So thank you for everyone that's up in here, man. Super cool. So let's get back to the questions. The Music Sanctuary. Any recommendations on pairing a Luxman 509X integrated amp with bookshelf speakers? I've been looking at Bowers & Wilkins 805 D4s. So neither product is in my wheelhouse, unfortunately. Zero Fidelity is going to be your guy to ask Luxman questions. He's reviewed a few of their amps. He has way more data points than I do. I have only heard Luxman like in trade shows. As far as the Bowers & Wilkins 805 D4s, I have heard those, but again, only at trade shows. So I couldn't even begin to tell you how they would pair together or in a room and things like that, because trade shows are, you know, it's like test driving a car for like 5 seconds on a racetrack. It's not a clear demonstration of what real world or in-home use would be like. If you guys see me keep swerving in my chair, it's because my back really hurts. I went to Las Vegas a couple weeks ago for a bachelor party, and we drove a monster truck. And let me tell you something, guys, those things don't have any suspension at all, One of my friends didn't wear a seatbelt, and he got slammed into the ceiling. It was a school bus monster truck for, believe it or not. Big Mike says, are you going to make a video on the LV12M? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I have one here for review. I'm definitely going to review it. I'm just super busy. I used to say it a lot in the past, but I haven't recently, so maybe people don't know, but YouTube is not my career. It's not even a job. My channel's not even monetized. It actually operates at a loss. YouTube for me is like, so what happened is, like, I have my career, I have my friends, you know what I mean? I've got a big life and I love it, but I did find myself feeling a little bit bored sometimes. And that could be because I don't have like kids and a wife running around and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted like a small project that was like just mine, you know what I mean? And that's kind of where the channel came from. So I put out a lot of content. I do pretty much a video every week, which is crazy considering this is not a job. It's not monetized. I'm not financially motivated in any way. I don't use affiliate links. I don't accept money. I've never even been offered money, if anyone's wondering. It's small channels like mine, guys. Like, I think under 30,000 subscribers, no one's offering you a penny, okay? At all. You're lucky if they even send you a review sample. But yeah, I'll review the LV12M, brother. Christoph says, my RSL arrived to Germany in like 5 days. Standard RSL FedEx shipping. Wow. I'll tell you what, it sounds like you paid $80 based on what you said. I think it costs more than that to ship it. And I think RSL covered the rest. My guess, because I ship a lot of stuff for my job, my guess is the real shipping cost was double that, and RSL only charged you half. Because 5 days, that's definitely air freight. And that's just big ups to them for doing that. That's crazy. That's really cool of them. Michael Ruiz, RSL 12S versus Logitech Z623 2.1 system. Let me freaking Google this, see which Logitech you're talking about, bro. I know this is a joke, but like I have to look it up now. Let's see here. Image search. Dude, I can't even find it. That must be some old stuff, bro. I appreciate the humor. Humor is something I feel like the hobby could use a little bit more of, guys. Honestly, I feel like sometimes we get a little like too uptight, you know? Eric, hey bud, did you firmware update your Aries 2? Eric, good question. I thought about it. I thought about it a lot because the Aries 2 is my primary DAC, and I decided not to, and I'll tell you why. It's the same reason I never upgraded the crossovers in my Bucard S400s to the special edition crossover. I like what I've got. And I think that's another habit a lot of us kind of like don't demonstrate often enough. We forget, or some of us don't even have the ability to leave well enough alone. But I like the Aries 2 as is. I like its sound. It's wonderful. It's lovely. To me, it's great. I don't want to change it. I don't even know what the firmware update does. I don't even care. I'm not doing it. I like the sound I have, and yeah, I'm just going to leave well enough alone. You know what I'm saying? Let's see, what else do we have? I'm going to Control F again. K-Man. And what is your favorite car and gun? Favorite car is my car. You know what I mean? I'm one of those people that's like, I try to stay in gratitude a lot. I have an Audi S7 2018. It's a little old now, but I've had it since it was new. It's got a twin turbo V8. It's cool because it's like a jack of all trades kind of car, and that's what I was looking for. My mom lives about 100 miles away, so I wanted a car that when I go and visit her, it's easy. It's not like super uncomfortable, but I still wanted a car that was like fast and had some performance to it. But I also wanted a car that had some utility, and the S7's a hatchback, so it's kind of like a combination of like if you took a Porsche Cayman and you made it a hatchback and a little bit bigger, but you gave it some comfort like an E-Class, and that's kind of what I've got. It's kind of like well, that actually makes sense because the Audi S7 is Audi's version of the Porsche Panamera, so yeah. Yeah, that's my favorite car. As far as guns, I don't think I have enough data points to have a favorite. I own a few, you know what I mean, and it's a big hobby for me, but there's just so many out there. But if I just had to answer, I'd say I'm a Glock fanboy. I just am. They work. They're the Honda Civic of firearms. You know what I mean? Anything you don't like about it, you could change, you could customize, you can make it your own, and I like stuff like that a lot. Ed says, if not too private, do you have other hobbies besides audio? No, not too private at all. Guys, I'm the type of person you can ask me any question you want. And if it's too far, I'll just tell you, but I won't really take it personally. You know what I mean? I don't care. Like, I have weird stuff happen to me all the time. I've parked my car before, and as I'm getting out, I've had people walk up to me and be like, what do you pay a month for that thing? So like, I'm okay with like crazy questions. They don't bother me. If I don't want to answer it, I'm super comfortable just saying like, I don't want to answer that, and I'll just move on. But yeah, so in the wintertime, me and my friends go to the sand dunes a lot. We go like off-roading and stuff like that, and like sand rails and like side-by-sides, things like that. It's a good time. In the summertime, we go boating a lot. Like every other week, we're at the river, we're boating. Oftentimes in the summertime, when you see me post a video on the weekend, that's a video I filmed like a month ago. And I just scheduled it out. I don't really film a whole lot in the summertime because I'm boating so often. Obviously, I love firearms and like shooting sports. I like anime a lot. I like TVs a lot, but that's not really like a hobby. You buy an OLED, you have an amazing TV, and you're done. And then I would say the thing I like the most though is probably just like any hobby you could do with your friends and family is great. My family's like super split up, so my friends are my family essentially. And as you can see, most of my hobbies are like group hobbies, so we have a lot of fun. Austin Harkey, hey dude, haven't seen your name pop up in a while. You're saying, been a minute, hope you're well, dropping in to support. Thank you, brother, I appreciate that. Ben says, sorry to hear that in response to me saying a lot of people at Expo and ghosted me after the fact. Don't worry about it, bro. It is what it is. I don't care, honestly. Like, I mostly review products I'm personally interested in, and I've got so much stuff right now to review that, like, I don't know how to say this without, like, kind of sounding like I'm just, like, arrogant, like, piece of crap or something, but, like, there's this part of me that cares about audio and, like, really loves it and is passionate about it, and like the YouTube channel and the community and all that. But then there's this whole other side of me that's just like, it's not that important. It's just not that important. It's a small part of life. Who cares? So when if companies like ghost me or they have like an attitude or they think they're better than me, which does happen sometimes, guys, some of these companies, not too common. Some of them, they got some kind of like delusions of grandeur. Like they really think there's something amazing, like world changing. But who cares about that? So let's see, what else do we have here? Oh no, did I lose my place? Nope, I found it. Next question, Everyday J. As a small YouTuber, I know how hard it can be to get samples, but it just makes it that much better when you get a free package in the mail. I don't usually get free packages in the mail. When I get review samples, I do have to send them back. It is free in the sense that I'm not paying the return shipping, and I do appreciate that. But the only times I get free stuff is a lot of the times the Chinese companies, when they send you stuff to review, they don't ask for it back because it's just not worth the shipping. Especially once it's stateside. You know, they sent this thing over in a container with maybe like 2,000-3,000 pieces, right? Think a little affordable Class D amp, for example. To send that single unit back to China, at the end of the review would probably cost them $100 or so. Even if it was like $50, it's not worth it to them. Also, in Chinese culture and a lot of Asian cultures, like gifts as part of business are, they're not frowned upon. They are considered courteous and polite. So it's not like they're trying to buy the review or anything like that. It's part of the culture. It's not a big deal, but yeah, I don't really get free stuff. Oh no, I didn't lose my place. Dude, I get it now. I really get it, guys. I know a lot of you guys follow Zero Fidelity too, and he loses his place all the time. I really get it. It can be difficult. Hold on, I need more water. What's the temp in here? 75. Hold up, guys. I'm gonna bust the window open. Because like I said, again, without AC, man, it barks in here. All right. Philippe Go said, thanks for answering my question. Appreciate it. Think there's a chance SVS will come up with something new, refreshed soon, especially after Clips releasing a new lineup, or am I just daydreaming? SVS did release something new recently. It just wasn't something a lot of us were interested in. It was the in-wall subwoofer, which I think is super cool for the people that are interested in that. But, you know, that's a big commitment for most people. So I understand not everyone's interested in that. If I just had to guess, I don't have any insider information on what SVS is doing. But if I had to just guess, I'd say maybe the Ultra series or the 4000 series would be due for the next update. But at the same time, I'd also say if they didn't update anything, I'd say that's okay too. The performance you get out of SVS, the feature set you get out of SVS for its price, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, they make a good product that is absolutely feature packed. I don't know if they need to change anything, honestly. Kirk said, thanks for the response. How and what are we checking when adjusting the phase on a sub? I never hear any difference. Phase can be real challenging. So phase is, I'd say, one of the hardest things people deal with when setting up a sub. So let me read your question again. How and what are we checking when adjusting the phase on subs? I never hear any difference. So what you want to look for is cancellation. Ideally, you need to have a reference, right? So my system in my car is my reference for phase because I know it's dialed in perfectly. And then my other friends who have stereos, I can use those as references. Or you could just unplug your sub and just the way your speakers play can be your reference. So you listen to a song that's got a good amount of bass in it. Think something like Put On by Jeezy. The intro hits something like 27 hertz and it goes up, and it goes back down. There's a lot of variation to it. Some of those drops hit harder than others. And if it's out of phase, one of those frequencies might just disappear entirely, right? If it's out of phase, the wrong frequency could be boosted and another frequency could be muted. So a phase issue, essentially, worst case scenario, is going to cause cancellation, or it can do the opposite and cause a standing wave where, not necessarily cause a standing wave, but like, well, I'll be honest, I don't know enough about like standing waves and shit like that, so I could be using like the wrong terminology, but you could have a scenario where like phase is either taking away bass or giving you too much. It could give you a spike in a certain frequency range. So I hope that helps. If you can't hear a difference though, I'd say you're blessed. I'm guessing your sub maybe just has a 0-180 switch. Just leave it to wherever sounds best, you know? A lot of people they choose phase based on what's loudest. Is that Andrew Robinson? Oh my goodness. If bass goes up by 3 dB, when you turn your sub on, it's in phase. If it goes down by 3 dB, the sub is out of phase. Yeah, definitely an easier way to say it. Nice having you here, my man. That's super cool. Ed Beck, did you have any interest to go to high-end in Munich? So I didn't know traveling. I've traveled a lot and I travel a lot for work, and I know some people love it, and I hate to sound like this kind of ungrateful guy that's just like, oh, you get to like travel around the world and you hate it. I don't like airplanes. I don't, you know what I mean? First class is a ripoff. Business class is a ripoff. Economy is torture. I hate it so much. I do like getting to the end destination, sure. But you know, with having a full-time career, taking time off like that to go to an international show, I gotta just like weigh the pros and cons. I do, and for my normal career and how I actually make money, I would rather do that than take like 5 to 7 days off and go to Munich for an audio show. If I was gonna take 5 to 7 days off, I'd rather go boating with my friends, honestly. But maybe I will go next year. I don't know. Everyday Jay says, one thing I never hear people discuss about ported versus sealed subs is the joy of feeling the port blow air into the room. It adds a bit of extra dimension. Everyday Jay, I think you don't hear people talk about that because I don't think most people sit close enough to their subwoofer to feel the port, the air coming out of the port. if you've got like a PB16 Ultra and you know you're sitting maybe 6 feet away and it's really cranking, like, and you're sitting on the floor, you might feel some of that air, but most cases, most people are not going to feel the air coming out of the port, because the listening position, you know, even in a small room, you're about 6 feet away. Bigger room could be 8, 10, 12, 15 feet away. You're not feeling that most of the time. Christoph says, on the way home from Munich high-end, do you have an opinion on ultra high-end or unaffordable hi-fi? I do. I mean, look, I'm the kind of person who decided I'm going to make videos on YouTube, so I definitely think highly of my own opinions, and I have an opinion on everything. It's a magic skill I have. Guys, I can have an opinion on something without even having experience. I just wouldn't voice that opinion, but yeah, look, I'm a walking opinion machine. But super high-end stuff is something I've actually given a lot of thought to, and this is what I'll say. I live in a part of the world that is very interesting. There are people that are extremely, extremely wealthy where I live. If a new car comes out, you're seeing it here. And when I say new car, I don't mean like the new Toyota Camry or Toyota Tacoma. I'm talking about like when the McLaren P1 came out, when Bugatti drops a new Veyron, when there's a new 911 GT3. You see them out here where I live. It's very common stuff. So I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of people that have a level of money that is like insane. Like there's actually a guy out here, he has a carbon fiber McLaren P1. I'm not saying carbon fiber wrapped. This is a custom one of one carbon fiber bodied McLaren P1, McLaren made just for this man. It's insane. So I've talked to these guys, and this is kind of what I've discovered. There, on one hand, look, are there some like super wealthy people that are kind of like a-holes? Yeah, but that hasn't been my experience. Most of them are cool, regular people just like us. They just have a lot more money, and just like we want like really good stuff, they want really good stuff. Their idea of good stuff is just a little bit different. Their homes are very different as well. A lot of these guys have really big homes, right? Some of these, think about these people that are making, you know, say 10, 20, $30 million a year. They've got huge living rooms. They've got, you know, maybe marble that is imported from Italy, maybe $200,000 just worth of marble, right? They might have 20, 30-foot ceilings. So yeah, they're gonna want something esoteric in their living room, and I think that's okay. I think there's nothing wrong with it. I see people comment saying things like, oh, these people, you know, they spend so much on high end, they don't know what they're doing. This idea that rich people are stupid and reckless with money, it's silly, and I think we should like all cool it a little bit on that. But I will leave you with this. It is proven that when a consumer is not highly versed in a product or category, they will use price as a determining factor for product quality. And I think we're all guilty of that every now and then, whether you're rich, poor, or in the middle. Sorry, that was kind of a long-winded answer there. I'm just reading through the comments, guys. Any interest in reviewing Parasound products? Kinda not. So Parasound's mostly like an amplifier company, right? And I'm super happy with the amps I have. So like mostly they do like power amps and preamps, I think. And I know they got like a integrated amp, but like the Hint 6, I think it's already been like reviewed to high hell, and it just, I don't think it needs me. And just 1000% honesty though, I don't love the aesthetics is kind of what it comes down to for me. So that makes me less interested in it personally. Most of the time when I review something, it's something I'm personally drawn to for one reason or another, right? Like the new Klipsch sub. The reason I got that in for reviews because its dimensions are kind of different. It's fairly short, it's not very wide. Like the front baffle's real small and it's instead very deep. So it gives people an alternative shape to accommodate in their living room. And I thought that was super cool, right? There's always like something that makes me personally interested in. For Parasound, there's nothing I'm personally interested in. However, I will say there are a lot of guys in my Discord that own Parasound products, and they all speak very highly to the sound and build quality. Mr. Grimble Hi Nemo, just wanted to thank you for the reviews. You helped me decide on getting the Buckhart S400. I since moved on to the A700, but the S400s were my first real audiophile speaker. Wow, so you got the big powered towers. Nice, man, nice. I think I know I'm not alone when I say this. I think we all have been waiting for, and maybe some of us have given up, but we all, I think, wanted to see a passive tower from Buckhart, but they never gave us one for some reason. 38 Special Forever. Glocks, that's it, unsubscribing. Simon Hank Hawkshaw. Simon, if that's your real last name, I am so jealous. That is an amazing name, Hawkshaw. That's there's like so much like power and prestige to that name. I love that. Thank you so very much for all your content and advice on subwoofers. You have always steered me right. Take care and all the best. Thank you guys. I do my best to really, you know, guide people in making the best decision on products, you know what I mean? And it's nice to hear like when it works out. Not never, but it's very rare that someone follows up and is like, hey, I bought the thing we talked about and I love it. You know, we rarely hear that feedback. I don't think it's just me. I'm guessing most reviewers, we rarely hear that feedback. So it's always nice when someone circles back. Let's see, what else do I have? Over 55 people watching now. Thanks, K-Man. Oh no, what happened? Okay, I found it. Robert Pierpont. If you were buying sealed dual 15s for 80% music, 25% movies, with say 3K budget, what would you buy? Rhythmic or question mark? I want a lot of upper kick, more so than subsonic bass. Kick is one of those words a lot of us use, and I'm not sure 100% what you mean by it, but if you mean what I think you mean is just that like tactile, kind of like you feel it here type bass, you might be happy with a pair of Royal Predator 1510s. It's the Predator 1510 and the Rhythmic E15 HP2. They're just top tier sealed subwoofers. I love the hell out of both of them. There's a comparison in my Discord if you want to know how they're different, but the Royal Predator 1510 is a little bit more like pistonic and tactile and like has that harder edge to its attack. And I think that's what you're describing. So if you can demo one, I highly recommend it because, you know, REL is commercially widely available. So you should be able to demo one, whereas Rhythmic, you just got to get it in your home. The E15 HP2 is pretty amazing and it'll kick just fine as well. I think you'd be happy with either one, but with the Predators, you'd have to wait for a sale. Whereas I think you could buy a standard E15 pair for 3K. Oh no, I lost my place. If I control F15, I should find my place because he just asked a question about a 15. All right. Fun fact, the reason I know how to use Control F function is from reading FAQs that were originally notepads for RPG video games for the Super Nintendo back in the day. Okay. Mohammed, does Tube Amp change the tune characteristics of a speaker? I'll be honest, Mohammed, I hardly have any experience with tube amplifiers. The only one I have here is the Thomson Stereo Galleon TS120 SE amplifier. And I would say, from my perspective, for sure, the Thomson Stereo Galleon, it absolutely has some flavor to it. Do they all? I couldn't tell you. Svalbard 01. Ever think about or get to hear Sock speakers? I hear they're pretty dope. They're beautiful. I've seen them. I've definitely lurked on their website a few times. They do some really cool custom Rhythmic subwoofers that I've always had my eye on. I've never checked them out. I might have emailed them when my channel only had like 1,500 subscribers and I never heard back, but like that was very premature of me for even to try to establish that. But no, I haven't heard them. I'm sorry. Andrew Robinson, what is your favorite type of product to review? Oh, good question. It changes, honestly, it changes. If I review a lot of speakers, what'll happen is I'll be like, man, I'm getting sick of like describing like treble, mid-range, and bass, and I'll sit down to review a subwoofer and I'll be like, oh man, this is so much more simple and easier. I love this. But then if I review too many subwoofers, I'm like, man, setting up this phase in this game, this is such a nightmare, and they're so big and they're so heavy. Like, God, I just want to review speakers. So I run into a constant game of the grass is constantly greener on the other side. I like reviewing most of the products. The only time I don't like reviewing a product is when I feel like I have to make an excuse for a shortcoming. That's pretty rare for me. But there are times where like I do struggle with like, let's say I have a product and there's something I don't like about it, right? Trying to decide if that's just my opinion, right? Or if most other people are gonna dislike that thing also. I struggle with that sometimes. And I don't like that part of the review process because then I have to like really think about it. I'll try to get like other people to hear it, try to see what owners think and things like that. And if it reaches the point where I'm like, hey, no, this is something that it's just me, then like I don't mention it. But if it runs into a situation where like other people are like, yeah, I don't like that either, or like, yeah, I think that's problematic, or that's not cool for this price range, then I'll have to mention it in the video. And that's never fun, but you know, it's part of the game. Edmund Gill, hey, what's up, man? A long-time subscriber, I appreciate you. You said, hey, bro, this is pretty cool. It is, isn't it? Greg Martin, do you have any experience, thoughts on bi-amping to passive subs with a mini DSP? I don't. That's a super DIY kind of thing, and I'm not a DIY guy. I might have been, 20 years ago. I just turned 40, and with how busy my schedule is and the absolute lack of woodworking skills that I don't have them. I'm not good with a table saw. I don't have a big garage. I don't have a large property, guys. I live in California. You know what I mean? $1 million here gets you like 900 square feet in a lot of places. It's crazy. But I would say hop in my free Discord, and there's guys in there that use mini DSP and things like that. Maybe they can help you out. K-Man says, did you get your AC fixed and the varmint eliminated? No, it's pretty hot in here right now. It's 75 degrees. The AC is not fixed. We're doing an isolation test right now. The rat we have not caught either. Trials and tribulations. Someone in the comments said first world problems, and thank you to that, man, because it is a first world problem. You know what I mean? Derek said, thank you for everything you do, bro. You're the one unbiased source for subs I can count on for 2-channel listening. Yeah, it's weird. I think there's a lot of unbiased reviewers out there, but subwoofers specifically for 2-channel music is kind of a thing I'm obsessed with. It is, and it's not a thing most people are obsessed with. We might cut this off in a little bit, guys. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit because I've been talking straight for like what? Damn, 67 minutes. What are my favorite brands? That's a question K-Man asked. Favorite brands? That's a super vague question. So like, I don't know if you're asking like my favorite brands to work with as a reviewer, or like my favorite brands as a consumer, or like, you know what I mean? It depends what you mean, right? Like if you can clarify in a follow-up comment, I'll try to answer that. Okay, W. Diaz, what do you think about the new Klipsch? Oh, you spell Clips kind of weird, man. Subwoofers. I haven't heard it yet. It's still at my office in its box. It's a little challenging to get the subwoofers from my office to my house, but I'll try to do that in the next week or so. Andrew Robinson, thank you for answering that phase question. Ishi619SD. Oh, you must be fairly close, or at least you used to be. What's your take on Golden Ear speakers? Never heard their speakers actually, so I couldn't tell you. The last time I looked at them, it seemed like their designs were. I'm not a fan of that like sock over the speaker thing. I don't know if they're still doing that, but it seemed like Golden Ear was doing a lot of passive radiators, something I generally don't like, which is weird because I like Buchart speakers and they use passive radiators, and I like Rel subwoofers and they use passive radiators, but most of the time I don't actually like passive radiators. Yeah, I've never heard them. Golden Ear is a company, I've just judged their speakers on aesthetics alone and been like, no thanks, man.
And then their subwoofers are just for dedicated theater. They don't have any kind of phase control. So they're relying on your AVR to do that. Us stereo guys don't have phase control, so I can't cover their subwoofers either. Irene, I'm 12 minutes late to the party. Thanks for the lead on jail audio subs. No problem, Irene. Let me know how it goes. Ben Gleason is talking to Andrew Robinson. Ben Gleason still talking to Andrew Robinson. I shouldn't talk out loud, huh? I should just like read the comment and answer. Oh well. Ed says, have you ever found a gem, a song that you liked in the Discord music recommendations channel? So Ed, I actually don't look at that section. Yeah, I hate that section of the Discord. I don't know if you remember, I wanted to delete it and I asked you guys if I could delete it and everyone said, no, we like it, we use it, so I didn't delete it, but I hate that section so much. I don't know why. Because I'm the one, I made the section, right? Like it was my idea and then I wanted to delete it, but I never look in that section. Sean B, AMA, how about what's your name? My name is pretty close to Nemo. If you follow Zero Fidelity, you should know my name. I'll leave you with that. He says my real name every now and then in his live streams if I come up. I'll leave some mystery. Everyday Jay, that's the beauty of living in the Bay Area. It's not unheard of to see billionaires sitting next to a liberal bum, to each their own. I don't live in the Bay Area, but I get what you mean. Yeah, it's more south, but yeah. It's late here in Portugal and tomorrow is a work day. Gotta sign off. Thank you for the chat, Nemo, and keep up the good work. Cheers, everyone. Thank you, Philippe. I'm glad you're able to join us, my man. Peter Dudley says, RHEL high-level connection doesn't seem to sit easily with room correction software. Dirac, Room Perfect. Is this an issue? I don't know. I could see it just not working because of like you got your room correction, right? And it thinks the speaker terminals are going to speakers. And with RHEL, you're like, yeah, I'm setting it to speakers and a subwoofer. And there's no way for your room correction to know that. I personally don't use room correction. Let me just make that absolutely clear. I don't use DSP. I don't use room correction, Dirac. I don't know much about these things, but I can definitely see that not working. And I would guess, this is a guess, hop in my Discord, ask the guys in the theater section, but I would guess if you're using a RHEL subwoofer and you're using one of these like room correction things, you're gonna wanna use your LFE output on your AVR to the LFE input of your RHEL subwoofer. Siphonics Audio says, what's up, boss? What's cooking, Siphonics? Sean B, when a sub expands your soundstage, would you say that's an out of phase issue? So this is a funny thing. No one ever referred to subwoofers as expanding soundstage until Thomas and Stereo said it. Thomas and Stereo said it a long time ago, and then other people started to say it. I don't know if I've ever set up a subwoofer and felt my soundstage expand. Maybe that's just my room, or maybe we describe things just slightly differently, but I've never had that. To me, soundstage kind of exists more so in the mid-range, but mid-range on up, if anything. But bass can definitely add a sense of scale to things, but soundstage being bigger, I'm not sure I would describe it that way. Hitman89, guys, this is my favorite YouTuber in the world. He does video game reviews, and I don't know why, his sense of humor kills me. It kills me. I don't know what it is. Hitman89, bro, I follow you because of your humor. The jokes you make, the on-screen elements are freaking hilarious. It's like watching Hitman89 review a video game is literally my happy place, guys. This dude is my spirit animal. That is so cool to see you hop in. Thank you, bro. Josh DeCover, and he's talking to Andrew Robinson. You should check out the Discord sometime. Yeah, everyone is welcome in the Discord, guys. It's free, whether you're a reviewer or a subscriber. I don't care. I already know there are some undercover reviewers in my free Discord already. I will just say, if you are a reviewer in the Discord, I'll prefer you use your real name, but I understand if you don't want to because you don't want to be like tagged all the time. So I'll leave it up to you. Do you still use less expensive Fosse amp? Are you asking me, Umesh, if I used a Fosse amp? No, it was just something I reviewed. I don't, look, like there's no reason for me to like use a $160 Fosse amp. You know what I mean? I have my Kinky Studio separates that are like over $6,000. Once you add in cables and such, there's no reason for me, even in my living room, like, you know, I have the Emotiva TA2, that's mine. I have always amps here for review, even Hegel H190, Thompson Stereo Galleon. There's no reason for me to use the amp like the Fosse. I'll be honest, it's a little too down market for me. It's just what it comes down to. Richard McCoy, damn, another old school follower or subscriber, shall we say. He's talking to someone else though, so. Ben Gleason says, AR, I like the mid-range of Decaware open baffle. Oh, he's talking to someone else. He's talking to Andrew. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. We're getting lost here. I hit scroll. I get what zero fidelity means now. When you hit scroll, it drops you to the bottom sometimes. Ben Gleason says, Nemo, Simon is a genuine nice guy. Who's Simon? Who's Simon? Huh. Am I missing something? Maybe I'm missing something. Zero Fidelity, do you have any go-to recordings when evaluating equipment? Absolutely, we all do. I listen to Put On by Jeezy to make sure my phase is right on my subwoofers. I listen to Cherish by Madonna to make sure my subwoofer gain isn't turned up too high. If it is, the song is overly punchy. I use Alchemia by Different Heaven to test extension and transient response and note-to-note distinction. Then there's songs I just like enjoy, like Name by Goo Goo Dolls is just like a nice song. There's a lot of EDM I listen to. There's a Set Me On Fire by Pendulum, if I want to just kind of check out deep bass, what a speaker can do, or subwoofer. I like a wide variety of music, and I'll also throw on some like death metal tracks sometimes from like Arch Enemy to see like how a speaker handles less than perfect recordings, or kind of like, you know, just metal can be a little gritty sometimes. And you know, if you throw up like your Focal speakers and you try to listen to death metal, it's not the coolest experience, right? And I do have people actually that ask me about metal. There's a lot of metalheads out there, and they want to make sure they have a speaker that can handle it. So I listen to a wide variety of stuff, but I definitely have my go-to tracks. Another good one for just like super low bass is If You by Scruggs. I like that song a lot. A subscriber actually recommended it. Hi-Fi 5.2 said top 3 small SPL subwoofers. Small? I mean, JL Audio, obviously, right? Because when I say SPL subwoofer, it's the tone. It has a heaviness to its delivery. Its leading edge comes in heavy. JL Audio for sure. They're the king. SVS. And then, you know, a third one that's like all the way on the SPL side of things. I can't really think of a third one right now, sorry. Larry is asking my favorite American-made sub company. So honestly, I'm not one of those people that really pays attention to where something is manufactured. So I don't know what companies are made in America and which ones aren't. I know JL Audio is made in America because I recently looked at the back of the subwoofer and it said it on there, but yeah, it's not something I really like pay attention to, so I don't even know what the list is for what's made in America and what's not. Size talking to Zero Fidelity. Oh, so the comment about Simon, I was talking about Simon's last name being cool. Simon's a cool first name too, but Hawkshaw, the last name, I thought that was super cool. So that was a little misunderstanding there. Andrew Robinson talking to Ben, cool. Cy talking to Andrew. Stay Brown. That's a good name. I got a REL T5X and my room is 9 feet deep and around 30 feet wide. My guy, that's a big room for a T5X. Should I place the sub in one corner on the right side or the left side? No wall. With a room that size, I would for sure try to corner load it and give that sub some reinforcement. If it doesn't sound good in the room, that's a big room. That's a lot of room, and that's an 8-inch sub can only do so much. But sometimes it works. There's actually a guy in my Discord, huge room. I think he has 20 or 30 foot ceilings. Beautiful home. The guy's an architect. Single T9X. Says it sounds perfect. I lost my place. Hold on, guys. See, where are we with time? Damn, dude, time really flies. I used to watch other people's live streams. I'm like, man, they're so long. How do they do it? But I realized time actually flies when you're answering the questions. It's people talking to each other. Hey, Felly, what's up from Riverside? You're close, my man. Andrew Robinson says, Nemo, remember your viewers are tuning in for your perspective, opinion on a product. If it's problematic or notable to you, it's important. Yeah, that's fair. You know what I mean? And I do my best to get that out there, but sometimes it's hard for me to know if I'm just being too picky or not. So I will get some other people's opinions, but you're absolutely right. And then next he said, bye, y'all have a good one. Cool, man. Zero Fidelity, talking to someone else. Simon talking to someone else. JJ. JJ's asking the right questions. What's the best and loudest subwoofer for 2-channel music and SPL? I can't stop choosing between Rhythmic FVX 15 or 12 for a medium bedroom. I love this hobby, guys. This man wants to put a vented 15 in his bedroom. I love it. Look, JJ, Rhythmic FVX 15 can play very loud, but so can the FVX 12. I don't know what you're trying to accomplish or how loud you're trying to get. There are guys out there that really crank their volumes crazy high. I think a single FVX 12 is going to be plenty loud for you, but you might be that 5 or 10% of guys that just want a crazy amount of bass. You have an insatiable appetite, maybe. If you're that kind of customer, I always tell those people, get the biggest sub you can get. You know, let's see here. Lost my place. It was JJ who asked a question. Okay. Who is this? Ben says, Nemo, I think you would like the Golden Ear BRX, good bass. I can't review it because it doesn't have variable phase or adjustable phase of any kind, so there's no way for me to get it dialed in. My room needs 180 phase generally, and there's no way to accomplish that with the Golden Ear subwoofer. My preamp is a purist piece. It doesn't have any bass management options. Someone talking to Zero Fidelity. Mohammed, do you think $1,400 for a I know it was like $1,800 when it was new, so it's more of like a value question and on a product I haven't heard. I couldn't say. K-Man said, I'm sorry I wasn't clear with my question. I was wondering what your favorite music band, not brand. Oh, my mistake. I might have misread. I don't know if I have a favorite band. I used to when I was younger, you know what I mean? I remember going through a phase where I loved Green Day and stuff like that, or I loved The Offspring. But I don't think I have a favorite band these days. Austin says, Discord link says expired when I click. I don't know what the Discord link is. Let me look. Oh yeah, that's an old link. Sorry, dude. I'll update it. Hold on. I'm doing it right now. Invite people. Copy. Edit video. I wonder if I could do this live. This would be really interesting if I could do this live. Holy crap, I can. Save. If you refresh, you should see the new Discord link. I just updated it for you. Thank you for pointing that out. Jep says, just got here. Is this gonna stay up? I won't zero fidelity you. I'll leave it up for like a little bit. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll leave it up forever. I don't know. At least like 48 hours, bro. I'll leave it up. Sean B, I'd love to see you try to blend subwoofers with Magnepans. I could probably do it, honestly, as long as I had JL Audio, REL, or Rhythmic. James Bond. It's a great name. What's your opinion of original M&K subs, and how do they compare sound quality? I haven't heard them. I tried to get a review sample. They don't email me back. Ramon says, good afternoon. Love your work. Thank you, brother. AA is asking about Q Acoustics. I haven't heard them yet, but I'm going to get review samples. Mostly people talking to each other. Zero Fidelity says, great stream, my guy. Gotta head out. Have a great rest of your Sunday, everyone. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you checking in. K-Man says you need a parrot on your shoulder while you do reviews. No way. No way. I love animals, but I don't have any pets. That's not my thing. Ed says, Nemo, do you still have time? Don't forget about the suit. Yeah, we're probably like 5 minutes and I'm out of here. Thank you for doing live. This is Siphonics. Thank you for doing the live. I appreciate these. I'd love to co-host sometimes with others. Ace says, congrats. As loud as Reggae sound system. Sorry, guys. I'm just reading through, looking for a question. Oh, Ben is saying BRX is a bookshelf speaker without a sock. Maybe, bro. I'll look it up. But like Golden Ear, it looks too ugly to me. And that's no disrespect if you find it aesthetically pleasing. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. That's just my opinion, you know. Joji, Ao, Nemo, what's good? It's Joe Man here from Discord. Hey, what's up, brother? Thank you for hopping in. Brian Morgan, Nemo, you're the man. Bought the Rhythmic F12 based on the review, and I love it. Hell yeah, that's an amazing subwoofer. Very slept on, very good though. Raymond Delgado, SE8 versus SE12 for mostly music system. Small living room, upgrading from a 20-year-old DefTech 8 Pro sub. I'd say get a SE8, one or two. The SE8 is a subwoofer I've always loved. I did not love the SE12 though. The SE12 was it was good. It originally launched at $399. Once it went up in price, I stopped recommending it. The SE8 became a little tough at $349, but I mean, now that they're on Blowout, I mean, they're both no-brainers, but primarily music-focused system, I would definitely rather have one or two SE8s over even one or two SE12s, unless you really want that extension. That SE12 is substantially larger. It's going to give you a lot more deep bass and extension. Ace of Spades, do you have room treatment? Yes, I absolutely have room treatment, yeah. I take a passive or analog approach to everything. I don't use DSP or EQ. I have first point reflection handled, my main wall is treated, and my back wall is treated. Surprised you never heard an MNK. I'm talking from 20 years, dual 12 push pull. Yeah, no, I'm familiar with them. They're not very popular in the US, honestly. They're just not for whatever reason. Sean B says, have you ever measured your room to find your room's peaks and dips? Yes, I have. I actually had someone I met through the channel who was local, he came over and he measured my room for me with Rue, and he was like, "What do you think your room does?" Just curious. And I told him, and we measured it, and that's exactly what my room did. So it wasn't necessarily helpful for me, but I guess it was helpful in like confirming what I was hearing was correct. How much time do you have with the TS120 so far? I have one from Thomas also. It's really great. That's Siphonics. I've had it. I've had it for a while. Maybe 2-3 months now. Maybe longer. I've had it. I was gonna review it, but then I think there was like not a lot of inventory, so I was like, I don't want to review it if there's only like a few pieces in stock. But I'm gonna try to review it in the next like 30 days or so if I can. I like it a lot. It's the sound. It's kind of like what you would expect from Thomas, like clarity, crazy good, mid-range, lots of flavor, very organic, and the bass, very strong, very strong. Brian is asking, would a sub like the Rhythmic F12 enhance the sound of a speaker like the Heco 300? Looking at buying those to pair with my F12. A really, really good subwoofer will enhance everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, even like using really, really affordable speaker like the Sony SSCS5, having it paired up with like a really good subwoofer, it's like having a really good foundation for like everything. So I pair whatever, I don't care, if the subwoofer is a lot more expensive, I think that's okay. K-Man says, thank you for the live stream. Thank you guys. Joji says, I'll bow down to Nemo. No. JHM says, hi Nemo, what's up, brother? Diaz, you're asking an illegal question. I can't answer that, sorry. You can see the rules in my Discord for why. Ed Beck says, what do you play or watch at the moment? So right now, I'm playing Dragon Quest XI. Super old game, but I've never played it, so I wanted to check it out. And as far as like what I'm watching, I'm not watching much. I'm watching the last season of The Blacklist, and I'm rewatching Fairy Tail for the first time, and that's it. I'm not consuming a lot of media right now. Manib can edit. Hello, just want to know, what do you think about Andrew Tate? Interesting question. It's not really audio related, but I think this is the best way I can answer Andrew Tate, right? If you find his content enjoyable, then watch his content. If you don't like his content or you find it offensive, then you should not watch his content. I think Andrew Tate is one of many extremist personality types. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll leave it up to you to decide. There's this whole spectrum of stuff, right? And there's this side versus that side, which is unfortunate because we're all human beings, and I'd love to see a day where we could get closer to seeing eye to eye. Andrew Tate's on one side, and he's the extreme personality type, and there's other people on the other side that are their extreme personality types. And I wish we didn't have any of those extremes, and people just saw eye to eye. You know what I'm saying? But I do think it's important for a man to be strong. I do think it's important for a man to face high quality problems and try to overcome them. And if a man can provide for himself and loved ones, I think that's a great thing. And Andrew Tate says stuff like that. And I agree with some of that stuff. There's other things he says that are a little crazier, you know what I mean, that I'm not necessarily on the same page on. And I think we can all say that about a lot of people, and people just get scared to say that, But no one's just all the way crazy, right? No one's all the way crazy. I think about Kanye West. Like, Kanye West recently said some crazy racist stuff, you know what I mean? Which I saw and I was like, whoa, what's wrong with this guy? I've heard Kanye West say a lot of, and I don't even listen to his music. I'm not even a Kanye West fan, but I've heard him say stuff where I'm like, that man is insane. Then I've heard Kanye West say some stuff where I'm like, hey, you know what, Kanye? You make sense today. What you're saying in this area is cool. I respect that. So I don't view things like super black and white. I don't really care about political party affiliations and stuff like that. It's just, the certain message. If you had a question about a certain topic, maybe, but I couldn't tell you, oh, I'm for Andrew Tate, or I hate Andrew Tate, because I don't view people as black and white like that, unless they're like a really, really like, you know, like you commit a murder or something, just clear black and white crime, right? James Bond, Nemo Propaganda. Have you ever heard Infinity Kappa Perfect 12, the best sounding sub I've heard? Literally perfect as the name implies. I have not. K-Man, gotta go. Later, bro. Thank you for tuning in. Josh, any interest in reviewing Seaton subs? Josh, you know those things are way too big for me, bro. No. Seaton is way too big. I don't want giant subs. The Predator 1510, Rhythmic E15, those are like, that's about as big as I'm comfortable with. Ace of Spades, maybe do a video on room treatment, maybe. I'm not like passionate about room treatment, but maybe. G-Morg, thanks for saying out loud what I think most think of Golden Ear look. Also appreciate your time at Expo, of course, man. And Joe G says, in the past 12 months, what are the best sale you've seen? I would say Emotiva's sale on the SE8 is pretty wicked good right now, and some of their other stuff. I'm not really a bargain hunter, though. I don't see a lot of sales because I'm not in the market to buy stuff myself. We are definitely reaching the limit of how much longer I can do this, guys. BS513 said, I got the same sub, original MNK. Yeah, sorry guys, I don't know about MNK. Brian Morgan, thanks for doing the stream, Nemo. Any plans for getting some vinyl? No, I'm not a fan of physical media, unfortunately. I know vinyl can sound really amazing, and I've had that experience, but I don't want it for myself. I try to have like a minimalist type home. Is you can kind of see in the background, it's like very like open and simple. That's what I like. Symphonics, referring to the Galleon, says, I agree. It has a character that seems ever so slightly to enhance the sound. Not artificially, but with more presence. Yeah, I agree. Oh, EM. Hey, Nemo, I'm rocking the Paradigm Defiance XR13. Hey, bro, that's a beast. That's a beast. I tried to reach out to them to get a review sample just because it was such a beast. I didn't hear back, but good for you, man. Honestly, good for you. That thing's an absolute monster. Have you heard or know the new subs XR? Yeah, no, I'm familiar with their new XR range. I haven't got my hands on it. It's insane what they're doing. They're building the drivers like SPL car audio drivers, which is like insanely heavy duty, and just shoving them in small cabinets and just loading them with power. So it should play plenty loud, is my guess. TM, if you were to start from scratch, building a system, cost no object, and large speakers, what sub or subs would you buy? I'd say cost no object is like, and with towers, I don't know, it depends how big the room is. Probably a pair of like Rhythmic E15s, something like that. Because, you know, I'm thinking like cost no object. I'm like super rich. I got this like big home. I got big towers. Yeah, like E15s. Or, I mean, like, hell, like if we're really saying like cost no object, maybe like a REL 6-pack line array. I haven't heard that though, but I'd probably do that if I was just like stupid rich with a big room. Do you believe there are music subs and home theater subs? Question from Sean B. Kind of. Not necessarily, kind of in the sense that like Golden Ear is a home theater sub, doesn't have phase control, it's very obvious. They expect the home theater processor to handle bass management. So there are actually some that really are for home theater. I don't think any are specifically for music though, necessarily. A lot of people say, you know, your REL T5X is, you know, REL mixed subwoofers for music. It's not true, actually. REL is a very theater focused company. Their subwoofers and their philosophy with designing subwoofers just happen to translate incredibly well to music listening. But I've had a lot of chats with the people over at REL, and they are very theater focused, actually. So I think personal taste is a big factor, and I do think some subwoofers do lend themselves better to theater, and some do lend themselves better to music, and then there's a spectrum, so there's some in between stuff too. Need more water. Kevin says, hey Nemo, ever try the KC62 behind your couch? Bro, you should watch my Rel wireless air video. I talk about that. That's literally where I have my KC62. Yeah, it's awesome. Joji says, bet Emotiva sale is solid. Also, the Rel 1003 Mark 1 sale was solid. Yeah, that sale was crazy, but they're all gone now. Yeah. Ace of Spades says, what's up? Or maybe he's saying later. I don't know, but Ace of Spades, always dope to see your name pop up. Siphonics dipping out. James Bond. Talking to someone else. Ed, which source do you use for music? Just curious. Blue Sound Node 2i into a Aries 2. Tidal Hi-Fi. Josh says Seaton makes 12s. I didn't know that. I thought they just made 18s. I'll look again. Yeah, honestly, I had no idea, bro. Sean B. Nemo, any opinion on Parts Express subs? You mean Dayton? A lot of people mix up Parts Express and Dayton Audio. I don't think Parts Express makes subs of their own. I know they offer DIY kits that come with a flat pack and a Dayton driver. And then they sell very affordable Dayton subs, and a lot of people refer to those as Parts Express subs. I love Parts Express just as a company, just what they offer for the DIY community. I use them a lot to buy stuff for my car audio projects. I've bought subs from them before, like raw drivers, little terminal plates and things like that. They're awesome. As far as they're like the cheap Dayton subs, I've never heard them. I've used Dayton drivers in custom builds before though, and I think they're good for the money. Lost my place. I gotta do the Control F thing, guys. Hold on. All right, guys. I think we are gonna call it a stream. Yeah, because look, we've been going for, what does my phone say, 101 minutes, so an hour and 41 minutes. So, thank you for everyone that tuned in. Oh, okay, one last question. Stay says, have you upgraded the Blue Sound power supply? I have the LHY audio kit, but I've never actually have installed it yet. I will one day. I probably should have asked someone how I stopped the stream. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? I guess that's how you do it. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in, for real. It's absolutely meant the world for me. Way more people showed up than I expected. You asked a ton of questions. This was a lot of fun for me. I'll try to do them once in a while, but it's not going to be like weekly or anything like that. Until next time, later.